Alright, what's up everybody, back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today we're going to be recapping, analyzing the two game fives from yesterday between the Sixers, Celtics, Nuggets, and Suns. Two huge games because if you know, there's a stat out there in a 2-2 series. The winner of game five wins the series about 82-83% of the time. These were two huge games, and they're pretty solid games. you know. So yeah, we're gonna talk about those two games. Thank you guys for the views on the vids and the shorts recently. Really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing, like, turn on notifications, also like that. Really appreciate it. It helps out a lot. And let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the first game, game five, Boston and Philly in Boston, coming off a wild, crazy game four that went into overtime. Coming to game five, and both teams are starting off kind of similar. Marcus Smart hits the first couple 3-pointers for the Celtics. The Sixers, Joel Embiid is taking over early. Tobias is hitting shots. Tyrese Maxey is hitting threes because for some reason the Celtics don't want to guard threes in this game. Jason Tatum's having another tough start, 0 for 6 again to start this game. Sixers led by 7 at the end of the first quarter. Go to the second quarter, and Harden and the bench is kind of making a little run, but then the Celtics come back. They get to the free throw line a lot. The Celtics were Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart get to the free throw line to kind of cut the lead down, but then Joel Embiid hit some shots and some free throws at the end of the half. The Celtics led by 9, or the Sixers led by 9 at halftime. In the third quarter, Joel Embiid was in shots still. Tobias Harris making some great plays, and it just felt like the Sixers were gonna run away with it, but the Celtics kept it within 12. Jaylen Brown takes some shots. Jason Tatum starting to hit some shots a little bit. It was a 16-point game, though. At the end of the third, then we go to the fourth quarter. The Celtics are trying to make a comeback with Tatum in the bench, but then the three-pointers. Tyrese Maxey, and then when Joel Embiid hit that three with 8 minutes left to go up 17, I feel like that kind of sucked the energy out of Boston. And then as well, a little bit later, that block that Joel Embiid had after he turned the ball over and he came back on the other end and blocked Jaylen Brown. That was really the kind of the game factor right there that ended it. Sixers end up winning 115-103 in Boston, take a 3-2 series lead, now going back home. Huge win for Philly, man. Looking at the shooting, Philly shot 51% of the field, the Celtics shot 40%. Celtics missed 50 shots in this game, 33 for 83. Both teams hit 12 3-pointers, but the Celtics shot 32%, Sixers shot 40%. And the free throw line, Sixers were 23 for 27, Boston 25 to 34. Philly also rebounded Boston 49 to 36. The Sixers just an amazing game. I mean, they played really good, got a lot of easy open shots, were hitting a lot of open shots, had some good energy on both ends. Joel had a big performance, 33 and 7 with 4 blocks, shot 10 for 23, hit a couple of 3-pointers as well in this game. Tyrese Maxey was a big factor. Tyrese Maxey was kind of struggling with his shot. The last 2 games of the series, he came in at 30 points, hit 6 3-pointers. That was huge for Philly. James Harden didn't have an aggressive James Harden game. He only took 8 shots. He was 4 for 8 from the field, but he did get to free throw line 10 times. 17, 8, and 10. He was just kind of facilitating, kind of turning to, facilitating James Harden, finding the Tyrese Maxey's and the Joel Embiid's and the Tobias Harris is out there for shots. And even though I said James Harden being aggressive is going to be the key, when other players are making their shots, kind of Harden gets an exception because he's finding all those guys. Tobias had a solid game as well, even though he was in foul trouble. 16 and 11, shot 7 for 10. And then Daniel House. This was a huge Daniel House game. Daniel House was kind of just sitting on the bench for Philly for the entire playoffs. I think he may have played 1 or 2 games randomly, but he came into this game and gave some really good minutes. 15 minutes off the bench, he put up 10 points, 5 rebounds, shot 5 or 7, didn't make a 3. But on offense, he was getting easy cuts, cuts, looks, getting to the rim, getting looks. But then defensively, he gave a lot of great minutes as well, and that's big for the Sixers. Sixers need a guy like Daniel House, and maybe he just kind of earned himself a spot in the regular rotation going forward, with those minutes because, he played really well on both ends, and Sixers are a team that doesn't really have a lot of players like Daniel House, guys that can come in and play both ends very well. They traded for McDaniels at the trade deadline, but so far in this playoffs, he hasn't really provided a lot offensively that you would think he could give. So Daniel House can come in and get those minutes and play well. That's big for the Sixers. and they just looked a lot better than the Celtics, honestly, in this game. They looked a lot better. The shot making was a lot better. The defense, the energy, a lot better because they knew how important this game was, and they came in and did that, and that take a 3-2 series lead. But for Boston, just disappointing, man. Honestly, like when you look at the entire playoffs and teams that were disappointed and stuff, the Celtics are up there. They might not be number one because Milwaukee did lose early, but at least Milwaukee has a little bit of excuse with Giannis being injured for some games. So that's a tiny excuse. But Boston's probably been one of the most disappointing teams in this playoffs. I mean, the regular season, they were a number one seed for a long time, the best team in the league until Milwaukee took that crown. But still, I mean, people thought of Boston as still one of the favorites, or not the favorite, in the Eastern Conference. And then going into the playoffs, they kind of struggled against Atlanta, but then Milwaukee's out. So now it's like, all right, Boston should have a free run to the finals. And now they're down 3-2 to Philly, going back home, going back on the road. And it's just, they look super disappointing. They just didn't have, honestly, it's just been the energy and intensity for me that's really put me down on the Celtics team. Like, watch them out there, they don't look like a championship team. They don't feel like a championship team just because the way they play and the way the energy. Like, you see it as there's at some points where they're not really moving the ball, they're not really locking in on both ends, they're just kind of chucking up threes and trying to get steals. And it's just like, what's going on? The energy was not there. Offensively, they took a lot of threes, missing a lot of easy shots, they got to the free throw line a lot. That's how they really got a lot of their offense going. But not, just no intensity. No, the shot making was not good. Defensively, Celtics were known as this defensive monster. But now it was just kind of Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, Tobias. They're kind of getting whatever they kind of want. It just looks really bad for Boston. Tatum had 36, 10, and 5. He did get to the free throw line 11 for 13. He had a decent game. Jaylen Brown, 24 points, 9 for 16. Again, don't know what happens to Jaylen Brown in the second half, but he just kind of stops taking shots. This game, he took a little bit more shots, but he just stops really taking shots. Marcus Smart had 14. He got to the free throw line a lot, though. But yeah, if you look at the role players, I mean, Derek White, 7, 2 for 6, didn't make a 3. He was minus 15. He has not had a good second round series after having a great series against Atlanta. Al Horford, 0 for 7 from 3. He was minus 18. He only played 25 minutes because Joel Embiid was doing well offensively against him. Malcolm Brogdon, 6th man of the year, 26 minutes. He had 7 points, shot 3 for 9, was -5. Robert Williams played 19 minutes. He had 4 points, was -3. Defensively, he did not look that good. Grant Williams only played 8 minutes and had an assist and 2 fouls in that time. They brought Payne Pritchard in just because they needed some energy, and he was good in the garbage time minutes. But I don't know if he's going to be a big factor. The Celtics just look like they're on the ropes right now. And I don't know what they can do really to save themselves. But the Sixers look like they got them on the ropes. And now we're going back to Philly for Game 6, and that's the season right there for Celtics. That's the season. So Philly's got to come out with that intensity and want in Game 6. And if they can do that, they can definitely win. But that was a huge game for Philly. Very impressed. And the Nuggets, Game 5. Suns, Nuggets, back in Denver, 2-2 series. Home team has won every game. Coming to Game 5, the Nuggets start off hot. Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr., after having a very tough Game 3 and Game 4, comes out in Game 5, hits 4 threes in the first quarter. Just comes out on fire, hot. Jokic is finding his teammates. Aaron Gordon is in threes. And the Suns and Nuggets just come out on fire with intensity. They lead by 11 at the end of the first quarter, 35-24. Middle of the second. And the Suns definitely make a comeback. Kevin Durant starts hitting shots. The role player guys like TJ Warren are starting to hit shots. Devin Booker's doing Devin Booker things. And they outscore the Nuggets 25-17 in the second quarter. It's only a 3-point game at halftime. We come to the third. Jamal Murray starts to hit shots. Nikola Jokic is starting to do his thing. And the Nuggets put up 39 points in the third quarter. The bench, Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown was amazing in this game. And the Nuggets kind of blow the game open. The role players, guys like Christian Brown and Jeff Green are coming in and dunking and hitting shots. And the Suns, KD and Book are trying, but it's just really tough because no one else is really doing much for them, just like how it's really always been. And the Nuggets eventually end up winning 118-102, taking a 3-2 series lead. The Nuggets shoot 49% from the field and hit 13 3-pointers, while the Suns shoot 43% and hit 9 3-pointers. Nuggets also had 10 more assists than the Suns. They also had rebounded Phoenix 50-42, including having 10 offensive boards. Nikola Jokic, another Jokic-like game. 29, 13, and 12 with 2 blocks, shot 12 for 20, 2 for 3 from 3. I think they say he's now the first center in NBA history to have double-digit playoff triple-doubles. Yeah, I think he already has 4 in this entire playoffs already, when there's only 3 other players that have had 1 so far. So Jokic is doing Jokic things. Just, simple Jokic game for him. But Bruce Brown was a big factor in this game. 25 and 5 off the bench, shot 7 for 11, hit 2 3-pointers, got to the free throw line a lot. He, was just doing Bruce Brown things. I always talk about Bruce Brown. He's kind of like the ultimate role player. Comes off the bench, it gives you whatever you need. And tonight he gave him everything they needed. Whether it was getting to the basket, scoring, hitting threes, getting rebounds, playing defense, he was doing it. And that was a huge X factor for Denver because in game 3 and 4 they didn't really have that. The role players really stepping up and showing out like they did tonight. MPJ as well, big bounce back game after having 2 kind of subpar games. 19 and 8, hit 5 3-pointers. That was huge. Brought a lot of energy, just hitting timely ones that kind of got the crowd off their feet. Jamal Murray had 19, 5 and 6, a solid game for him. Didn't start off the game shooting well, but once he got to the second half, he started hitting the shots. And then Aaron Gordon, 10, 6 and 6. They just got energy from everybody. KCP even defensively was bringing it. Christian Brown, had a big dunk in transition that brought a lot of energy. Joe Green was doing solid. And it was just a really good game for the Nuggets. All around, just good game. Players hitting shots. Defensively, they're forcing turnovers, and that's just how they win games, But for the Suns, kind of came back down to earth after those 2 games, the role players, Devin Booker at 28, 6 and 4, shot 8 for 19. He was trying. KD at 26, 11 and 7. Another tough shooting game for him, 10 for 24. DeAndre Ayton had 14 and 9. I honestly didn't even know he had 14 points in this game for DeAndre Ayton. But then after that, Cameron Payne, 7 points, was 3 for 5. Josh Okogie only played 8 minutes in this game. Landry Shamet, after having a big game 4, only hit 1 3 in this game. Terrence Ross has a couple threes. TJ Warren was 2 for 7. Jock Landale was 2 for 4. It was really tough for the Suns to win if the Nuggets are rolling like that. If the Nuggets have their role players, guys like Michael Porter Jr., Bruce Brown, Aaron Gordon, doing the things they were doing last night, it's going to be very tough to beat them, man. It really is. And now the Nuggets are up 3-2, going back to Phoenix for a Game 6. Phoenix needs to step up. Phoenix needs someone to step up. They need someone else to come with them, knock down shots. They also need KD and Booker to be efficient as well. Both of them had under 30 in this game. And if they do that, they're definitely not going to win. So both of those guys definitely need to step up and have over 30. But they need just some help, man. They need some help. Chris Paul potentially could be coming back for Game 6. We saw him before the game. He was working out, getting some shots up. So maybe, potentially, a Game 6 comeback. That could help him out. But it's going to be very tough. Going back to Phoenix, very interested to see who's going to win that game. And if Denver comes out playing kind of similar to this, with the energy and the role players are hitting shots, then they're definitely going to win, Yeah, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you like the content, consider subscribing, turn notifications, also like that. We got a couple elimination Game 5s tonight, so definitely going to be watching out for those. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow.